It's Yom HaZikaron in Israel, and here in the United States, Israeli Americans and Jewish Americans, supporters of Israel, are recognizing the occasion. There's a ceremony here in Los Angeles. Where do you live?
I live in Binyamina, Israel. It's near Haifa. It's a small coastal town.
You're visiting America now, and you happen to be here on Yom HaZikaron. How many times have you been away from Israel during Yom HaZikaron?
So I've been away once, which is now, but it's my first time. But every time for the past 3 years, I was in the military, and I wasn't home. So you could call that away, I guess.
But I mean, you were in the country?
Yes.
Adar, what did you do in the I.D.F?
So I was a platoon commander in 50th Brigade in Nachal, Chativat Nachal. It's infantry. And I had a platoon of 34 soldiers. Essentially, that's it.
What were the ages of these soldiers?
So essentially, I got them out of boot camp. They were 19 at the time. And when I got discharged, they were 21.
So these are young men, college-age men in most countries.
Yes.
What does Yom Zikaron represent to fellows in the service?
So when you're in the service, I think Yom HaZikaron is an important time to think about your friends in the service, across the I.D.F, about friends you know that have served and have fallen in the I.D.F. It definitely has a different kind of significance when you're in uniform, in the ceremonies. You feel it, and feel it vibrating in your body at that moment. And it definitely, you feel pride, for sure.
So how is it possible to fight a war when war is so close at hand, and yet the soldiers are emotional and sensitive people? I mean, you aren't like robots or fighting machines, or at least you don't seem like that now. What's that like from a platoon leader perspective, where you're in situations where you may be putting your soldiers' lives at risk?
First of all, I think the beautiful thing about the I.D.F is that we are, as much as a military can be, we try to be as moral as possible. I remember a lot of times when I was stationed in the West Bank and my soldiers had trouble ideologically connecting to the missions they had, and yet they still decided that they're doing it full-heartedly and at the same moment being as humane as possible. So soldiers in the I.D.F, I think mostly in infantry, have the contrast of, at one hand, being a combat soldier, and the other hand, being a human being. And in the I.D.F, we really try to bridge that and find the common ground. And I think we manage.
So what is Memorial Day like typically for the community?
So when I think back about my hometown, everybody comes together, and you see people you haven't seen in years, friends from high school you've never spoken to, and you still have that moment where you all connect. It's a family day, it's a community day, it's a day where people come together and lean on each other, and it doesn't matter which part of the country you're from, you feel it. It's in the air, and everybody relates to it at the same time.
How was that experience different in terms of loss of life in the defense of the community?
Well, first of all, you have to remember Israel is a really, really small country. We're counting about 7 million right now, 8 million if I'm correct, and back in '48 we're talking about less than 600,000 people. So first of all, I had the privilege of being born third generation. So that means my father was born in Israel, my grandfather was not. He had to move from Europe after the Holocaust. And that sense of loss is so large in scale. Every family has at least one person who has fallen in service or in reaction to service. And there's no single family that hasn't been affected in a sense by the country. So we're first of all obligated to these people who have given their lives for us, so we could lead our lives peacefully. And secondly, we have the privilege to honor our forefathers, who most of us knew and had the privilege to know. We're talking about my grandfather who passed away 7 years ago, and I had the privilege to listen to his stories and how he came to the country and how he defended it with his own hands.
Are war wounded regarded differently in Israel than outside of Israel, in your view?
I think we have tremendous respect for our injured, and because we're all veterans, we all understand. And I have a soldier who will never be able to run ever again after his service, and we have tremendous respect towards these people. And I think we don't view them as something else, because they're heroes in every sense.